Hello and welcome to another episode of the Roach Koach Podcast, the journey to create the new metal canon. My name is Lorin Kozlowski. With me, as always, the original Roach writer, Mr. Matt Nas.
Keep it rolling, baby.
Keep it rolling indeed, Matt. And this week, let's just get right to it. We have a guest this week. He's a good friend. He's a host of the bi-weekly podcast, Talk To Me. It's Josh Toomey.
Yeah.
Here I am. I'm back
There he
again.
is.
After I've said no more guests, I've now been a guest twice since then.
That's a Roach Koach promise.
That's a Roach Koach promise for
That's
sure.
what happens when you just say, hey, no more guests ever. And then they invite you on the podcast multiple times.
That's right. We're going to push against that. But Josh, we have to have you on because we're just going to get into the meat of this episode here, which is all about that. Josh, you took me as your guest with you and your wonderful wife Melissa to see Slipknot.
We did. It was awesome.
And what an experience it was. And I'll start with, I just want to say that Josh, when you told me, you're like, don't worry about it, I got tickets. And I said, great, thank you. And you said, just meet me at the venue at the Ruoff in outside of Indianapolis, Indiana. And I'll hand you your ticket and you'll get on in. It'll be no problemo. Little did I know that the journey from my job to the venue would take me 2.5 hours due to traffic, due to the decision by the Ruoff team to close multiple entrances to the venue. And at one point I was just in my car just yelling, how dare you? Why is this closed? But eventually I got in. Miraculously only missed one opener. And then when I got there, Josh, you said to me the words that no one has ever said to me before in my life. We're in the pit.
We were in the pit. Let me go back a little bit before you tell me your side of the story. So you had hit me up the night before. You're saying, hey, at whatever time on Tuesday night, it says from your house it was going to take an hour and a half. And I'm like, yeah, it's an hour and a half on like a rando night. You know, it's not going to be like that during the concert or whatever. So you're like, all right, I'm going to leave work at 5. I'll be there at 6:30. And I'm like, yeah, all right, we'll see what happens. And we left here about 3 and we got up there, about 5 and got into the venue. Actually, we were waiting outside for you. We were like waiting outside the gates. But then we could see like some delicious beers like right inside the gates. And we're like, I wonder if we can just go in and grab a couple of those beers. They look delicious. So we go in and I'm like, Lorin, whenever you get here, we'll just meet you at the gate. We'll give you the ticket through a hole in the wall kind of thing. And yeah, I'm glad we didn't wait for you outside as long as we did, because we actually did go down and check out a little bit of Orbit Culture. Amazing band. They crushed it. And so by the time Orbit Culture was over, I get a phone call from Lorin. He's like, I'm on my way up. And so we run back up to the gate. We give Lorin those are old school paper ticket and backstage pass. So
now the backstage pass, I wasn't sure if we wanted to bring this up because you showed me the backstage pass sticker. And at this point, I've been backstage at Limp Bizkit. I know a backstage
this
sticker
old
when I see it.
Yeah.
I was like, one of these.
This
again.
old hat for me.
Another
hand
one
as well.
But then, Josh, you told me that the only way we could get backstage is if we found someone with a laminate who would be our guide, our host.
Yeah.
And we did not know anyone with a laminate.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I got them. And typically, if you go to the backstage area, like the person standing in the backstage will have a list of what passes do what, And so I was going to go backstage, but I was like, I really don't know anybody out here on the tour. I don't know anybody on the crew. I don't, I just felt like we would be in the way, I did say that there might be some free Celsiuses back there, so we might go try to find those at some point. But yeah, I went up to a lady that was standing at the backstage area, and I was like, where does this pass get me? Where can I go? And she pulled out it was funny, she pulled out the sheet, but she was like turning it so that I couldn't see it. She was trying to like hide the information, but she did point at it and say that you to be in the backstage area, you needed to be escorted by someone with a laminate. And I was like, well, this thing's pretty much useless then, because I don't know anybody here.
So I just have a nice sticker, which is fine.
It's cool. Nice memento.
Nice little memento. So when we get in there, Matt, I know you want to know. I immediately bought a $20 burger fries
Oh, thank God.
and inhaled it, and it was delicious. The parts that did touch my tongue when I wasn't just throating it, and and
Well, you
then
are the throat goat for burgers.
I am. And then yeah, and then Josh, I remember I think I asked you like 2 times, like, we're in the pit, and you were like, yeah, we're in the pit. And yeah, so we went down to the pit for Knocked Loose. And I want to say that this felt like the closest I've ever been at a show of this magnitude. I was in the pit for Rage Against the Machine, but I was back a bit. I was back a bit. And we were really hella close. I didn't have to look at the screens ever because the screens could not capture what my actual eyes, like, we were so close. It was nuts. Knocked Loose come out and they proceed to do, I don't know, 25 rippers in a row. Just hardcore crushing. Everything they did was awesome. I recognized 3 songs maybe, but I mean, it was really awesome. And on top of that, the place was already packed for them. And then they were doing put your hands up, do all these moves, and the audience, I'm talking front to back, go to the back of the lawn. People were into it. They were owning it. They were owning it hard. There was no like, I'm just here for the knot. No. Everyone was like, these guys bring the fucking heat. The pit activated, Josh, how many times? Like every song, basically?
Yeah, every song. The one thing too, we'll kind of go back to Orbit Culture a little bit too, is when we went down there for Orbit Culture, they had a mini wall of death in this pit. Like, and this pit is not big. Like, it's very compact. So when they do a mini wall of death and they had a circle pit going, I'm like, this is going to be awful for Slipknot. Like, I honestly thought once Slipknot came out, the pit was just going to be an entire mosh pit, and we were just going to be like, can we just have a seat somewhere?
Yeah, for all hell to break loose.
Yeah. And so during Knocked Loose, they get up there and he's doing the everybody raise your hands, everybody jump, everything he said, everyone did, and the pit area got a little wild.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna lie. So again, I'm like, oh, Slipknot's gonna come on here, and this is gonna be a mess. So
yeah,
Lorin,
because I will, in my transparency, I start looking for Instagram lives, and because Lorin, you threw up the Knocked Loose, a little performance from them, the picture of the backdrop, and I'm like, I got to see what's happening here. And I got footage from like the lawn, I guess, because it's an amphitheater.
Yeah, it's probably similar to where you went for
Like
similar
Pine Knob.
Similar to Pine Knob, yeah.
But in that front part of that lawn, there's a full ass pit going on. Like it is not a half ass pit. It's full ass pit happening. And I'm like, oh boy. I felt it too. I was like, they're going off for Knocked Loose. So my heart was with you boys. I was like, all right, let's see what happens.
And I want to say their music was stoking the pit, and then they would stoke on top of it. The guitarist would make circle motions with his hands. He would point at people. Like, there was just constant motion. They're like, they don't want to see people just standing. They're like, we want to see you move. We want to see you go.
I have watched numerous Knocked Loose sets on YouTube. I've watched Hate 5/6's, the one I think from Tie Down Detroit. I've watched quite a few, and they're emphatic about what the crowd should be doing at all times. Like, if you're confused at a Knocked Loose show, it's because your ear protection has completely stifled the sound, because truly I have never seen anyone or heard anyone say get up more in my life than the people in Knocked Loose.
They were instructing the crowd to just get fucking lit at every moment, and it was awesome. And it was really great to also just see them. It felt like a real level up. Like, we knew they were good. I mean, I think their new album is fucking incredible, great album. But it was another thing to be like, can these guys graduate?
This is a big deal show. This is not a hardcore show in a church basement.
Exactly. And they owned it. it was a like a true like, yeah, Knocked Loose, real motherfucking deal. They can do it. They can do it. When they announced this other tour, it was like we proved it with the Slipknot opening, and now we're gonna bring our boys out because they're taking what Drain and some other bands. I mean, it's gonna be sick. It's gonna be sick. So I'm watching Knocked Loose thinking like this is the best. Like this is best. I wasn't even really even think I was like, cool, Knocked Loose, excited to see them, but I'm here for Slipknot. I'm like, this is amazing. This is so good. And then it keeps feeling like maybe this will be the last one. They do another one. And then Josh, you say to me, you go, well, they gotta do the Arf Arf song. And I was like,
Counting Worms has to happen.
it has to happen. And so right before that, they do the Poppy song. Suffocate.
Oh, Suffocate. Awesome.
But with that, they say, he goes, at the count of 3, I want everyone to yell, suffocate. And I was like, this is best night of my fucking life right now. Like when this happens. Oh my God. And so, yeah. So then he does the 1, 2, 3, and everyone screams suffocate. The pit goes down. I mean, the pit at that point just kept combusting in a way that I kept expecting like a body part to fly out of it. You know, or just something like a hat, if not a body part, a hat, piece of clothing, you know, a shoe. And so yeah, so they do suffocate, fucking incredible. Then they start the song, and I was like, oh, I know, and you could feel it. Just the rumble. Just the rumble is happening.
And him just playing the top part of his guitar.
And then he rumbles up and and it builds, and then he goes arf arf, and that fucking pit, man. That's when I really thought somebody's gonna rip somebody's head off. Somebody's just be like, you don't need this anymore. But honestly,
why does this look like CBGB's in '82?
I will say though, I did look in the pit, and it was a supportive pit. People fell down, people got picked up. Nobody was getting their ass beaten there. Like it was a supportive pit, which is good. And so yeah, and so they're finishing up, and then we decide we're gonna hit the bathroom, maybe get another drink before the Mighty Knot comes out. And so we go over and we're chilling out, we're chatting, talking about life, talking about things. I feel a tap on my shoulder. I turn around, and a gentleman says, "You Lorin?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "I listen to Roach Koach." And I was like, "Oh, well, hello. Thank you for listening." His name was Tyler. He was very nice. He said that he's been saying that new metal is back for 5 years now. And yeah, it was great to meet. It was very brief. You know, he just wanted to say hello, and he was a fan of the show. And that was a first. Well, not a first, but it was incredible. It was very, very cool. Thank you, Tyler. Thanks for being a listener. Thanks for saying hello. Also, I want to say, Josh, I want to say you admonished me, but you did say you were surprised I did not wear a Roach Koach shirt to this show. And I'll be honest, I straight up forgot wore a health shirt because I packed very quickly in the morning because I knew I had to change at work. But it was still very nice to see that and yeah, and to talk to Tyler for a moment. And
Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate that. At that point, I'm now like, oh my gosh, I've been recognized as a Slipknot show. We've done it all, Josh. Let's get in the pit because Slipknot is about to come out. And we should mention the in between set music, all straight up new metal AF. Deftones, Limp Bizkit, Korn, also some Tool. But they're just Mudvayne, Dig. They're just playing all. I think they played Bodies.
Oh my gosh.
They just ran through all the new metal greatest hits. It was wild. And I was like, okay, all right, well done. Now, it did seem at one point, though, that they had made a short list because it started to sequence back because I think they played Stinkfist twice. But that's okay.
Oh, my night is not complete unless I hear Stinkfist twice.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's so funny. The first time you hear it, you go, a fucking classic. Unbelievable. Tool really knocked it out of the park. And then you hear it the second time when you're waiting for Slipknot, and you're like, all right, we need to wrap this up. We need to move things along.
Hey, keep it going.
Guys, come on, let's figure this out. At one point, there was a gentleman on stage vacuuming the stage, and people were so ready that they were cheering the vacuum guy. They were so amped and excited. So we get in the pit. They start playing Dreamweaver, which a bunch of people around us were like, hey, from Wayne's World. And I was like, I'm glad to see Wayne's World still has that imprint. Good deal. And they play all of Dreamweaver, whole fucking song. And then the band comes out. And I gotta say, it's, I've been looking at pictures of these guys for 25 years in the suits. But to see them come out, in them in real life, right in front of me, spitting distance. I was like, these are showmen, and they are about to give me a show. And a show they did. Because, Josh, you took the video. This video is now worldwide. Everyone has seen it. It has over 1 million views, and I'm not making that number up. Million
Truly,
views.
1 million views.
1 million views, Josh. They start up, and what does Corey Taylor say?
He just said, I'm going to give you a warning now. Anything played tonight there was nothing played tonight that's going to be written after 1999. And they did not lie about that. they literally just played the first album.
They played the first album. They played, so this started all off. They did Sick, Eyeless, Wait and Bleed. And everyone is going bananas. Bananas, cray cray. There was also a man in a banana suit that we saw at one point.
We did see that, yes.
You did see a man in a banana suit. Everyone is going nuts. And we're like, man alive, this is the best. They're just going to play the whole first album. I'm not mad about that. I'm thrilled about that, especially since we just did this episode with you, Matt, going through your whole thoughts on it. I was like, it's so fresh for me. I'm like, this is going to be the fucking best. But I did notice something. These guys are a little bit older now, which means they take a lot of breaks. I think they took 4 breaks, perhaps 5 if we count the encore. And did either of you guys see the movie Trap?
No.
Okay. I won't spoil the movie Trap, but in the film, Josh Hartnett's character takes his daughter to see Lady Raven, who is in the world of the movie Trap, is like a Taylor Swift-esque pop star, very popular. And for some reason, though, she has a lot of intermissions in her show, which allows the characters to leave and go other places, and thus justify why they're not in their seats, because they're setting up for the next song, as characters would say. And a main criticism of the movie was no concert has this many breaks. And before I went to see Slipknot, I was like, I agree 100%. That was one of the big holes with that, was these breaks the Lady Raven was taking. Then I saw Slipknot live, and they took like 5 Lady Raven breaks where they all went off stage and they all got a water and then they all came back out. And I will say, though, worth it, because they sounded incredible from beginning to end. I don't think there was a moment where I'm like, I don't think they're really nailing it. I mean, also, as you pointed out, Josh, this was opening night of the tour. So everyone is fresh as a daisy. Corey's voice, perfect. Everything was where you want it to be. The costumes, probably the freshest they'll ever smell. The masks, fresh, crisp. I thought maybe I was like, is there still some plastic cellophane wrapped around Corey's mask? He just got it out of the box. Probably still smells like those styrofoam chips. So I'll just run down the set list here. They do Sick, Eyeless, Wait and Bleed, Get This, Eeyore, Tattered and Torn remix, Me Inside, Liberate, Purity, Prosthetics, No Life, Only One. Then encore, Spit It Out, Surfacing, Scissors. And this run, Josh, was this your first time seeing them?
Oh God, no. Like
Okay.
I saw Slipknot in the day. Like I saw them. I saw them open for Cold Chamber and Machine Head. Like it was wild. So yeah, I've seen them a bunch over the years.
Okay, of the times that you've seen them, like how does this rank?
Definitely up there. I mean, I would say like I saw them on Ozfest back in the day. I saw them in clubs back in the day. So it's those are probably going to be like the tops. But of the most recent shows I've seen, this is probably my favorite. I liked seeing the old school mask, the old school suits, the old school everything. And yeah, just the whole playing all of the first album. And I'm sure we'll get to it. And I know the biggest complaint on this whole thing is it is like only like 54 minutes of music. Like, and if you take all those breaks out, it's probably like 45 minutes of music. If they would have thrown in a heretic anthem or something like that, probably wouldn't have been a bad idea. And I've actually been kind of curious to watch some of the set lists to see if they add as this tour goes on, because someone was complaining that I think the whoever recorded the show, I think he said it timestamped at like an hour and 3 minutes, but the first 4 minutes of that is Dreamweaver, so it's like 59 minutes, and then you keep subtracting. So it is a shorter set, and you and I were both confused when like the show was over, and we are like, "Oh, that's real funny, Slipknot. You'll be right back out for for a double encore or whatever." And then the house lights came on, and you know commercials
There,
for upcoming shows popped up.
yeah, when the lights went up, there was a sense. There was it was. I wasn't a super shock. It was a slight sense of shock of like, oh, that's it.
That is
Right.
it.
That is it. And there was a small chant of one more song from the lower pit area, but everybody else was moving. And there was, I remember we were going through and I was like, are people going to get really mad about the fact that they just did this? But then as we were going through, I remember hearing a guy and he was like, they did the whole record. Amazing. And I was like, okay, I mean, that's the thing. They did the whole record, the whole thing. They were playing, and according to,
I think like the stats on some of those songs, like Scissors, hasn't been played.
Well, yeah. So this is the stats on Setlist.fm. Sick hasn't been played. Okay, first time as an opener since 2012. Me Inside, first time performed since 2015. No Life, first time performed since 2000. Only One, first time performed since 2012. And Scissors, first time performed since 2000. So you're hearing stuff that hasn't been performed in
24 years.
Yeah. So that on its own feels incredible. Plus, they sounded so good. They sounded so good. And the show they put on, Showman. Clown, we've been talking about Clown on this show for 8 GD years.
For sure.
To see Clown in action, I feel we've undersold Con. The guy's up there. He is in the zone. He's obviously playing the barrel. I mean, when I saw the barrel get rolled out, I was like, oh, here we go. My life's been leading towards this. But he is playing not just the barrel, he's playing the drums, but also he's going out interacting with the fans. They're doing bits. They're getting, I don't know if I want to use the word wacky, but it's this sort of like semi-demonic, semi-wacky goofballness that is appreciated. And it's really just, we're putting on a show. We're a bunch of guys in masks. We're not just going to stand here and play the songs. We're going to be a little wacky. And we also were filling this space. We all have to do something. And yeah, Clown, incredible. Just incredible. He's great to see him. But the guy who, if we want to say stole the show, was, you identified him as the original Tortilla Man, Josh, who he was dressed more as like a demonic Raggedy Ann, or Raggedy Andy, however you want to run it. He spent the show throwing his body around, doing slides, doing falls, flicking off the audience, pretending to jack off his microphone, pretending to jack off his drumsticks, lots of just pretending to jack off. I think at one point he pretended to jack off other members of the band. But at certain points, the song would require him to lock in and play the drums, and man, did that dude lock the fuck in. And I was like, oh, he's a wacky dude, but also an incredibly talented percussionist. And yeah, he was unbelievable. He never stopped moving the whole time. And it really did make me wonder how much fun is the Slipknot rehearsal? Because it really is like, hey, we're going to be getting wacky. We're going to be, we're going to be making motions at the audience. We're going to be nuts. We're Slipknot. We're a bunch of guys in masks and jumpsuits. And in that way, they delivered 110%. Just watching them just throw around. And then you have Corey Taylor, front and center, giving us commands, yelling at us to get the fuck up and letting us know that this is going to be the greatest fucking night of our lives. And he sounds incredible in every single song. And when he got to the rapping songs, like Only One, this motherfucker can still spit.
So let me just check in with you real quick, Lorin. And Josh, you can keep us honest here. Top 5 rappers, Lorin.
Oh, top 5 rappers. Oh gosh. Right now, number 1, Ghostface.
Okay.
Number 2, Jizza.
Okay.
From the Wu-Tang Clan. Number 3, Jay-Z. Number 4, I'm gonna go back a little bit. I gotta say, my boy LL Cool J.
Oh, Cool J.
LL
Okay.
Cool J, really great. And number 5,
Top lyricists, top rappers.
top lyricists and rappers. Okay, hold
Sure.
on. I got it. Let me get a pen here. Let me get a pencil here. All right, gotta redo my list here. We're gonna move this guy here. Okay, we go. Okay, lyrics. Okay, all right. Move this
Yep.
here. Hold
Okay,
on.
so
Hold on. I'm moving this. Okay, Corey Taylor on Only One. There we go.
number 1 with a bullet.
Yeah, just great work. He was truly rapping it as hard as he's ever rapped it,
He was in his
and
bag.
he was in his bag. He was totally in his bag, and I loved it. I loved it. When I realized that was the other thing. Everyone else is like, only 1999. That means we're not going to get any duality. We're not going to get any people equal shit. And in my head, I'm going, we're going to get only one.
So a pinnacle moment in my life is watching Slipknot, hearing him spit some rhymes, and Lorin leaning into me going, "That motherfucker is spitting." At a concert. I was like, that is worth the price of admission right there.
This motherfucker's spitting.
Motherfucker is spitting.
It was truly amazing. And you know, we, as you said, the Knocked Loose pit, calamity, craziness. The Slipknot pit, not as crazy. Not as crazy. I would say largely just everybody was just like, "Hey, we're excited to hear these songs." They got a few circles going. There was a lot of crowd surfing near the end. I think somebody got hit and had to get taken out by a crowd surfer at one point, but otherwise pretty tame.
That is surprising / not surprising, because this is the 25th anniversary of the first record?
Yeah.
So that does put the audience a little bit older. So everybody who's into Knocked Loose comes to the front. Knocked Loose is over. They dip back a little bit. The rest kind of reposition themselves. And I was shocked because the footage that you took when you said you were in the pit, especially for Slipknot, it looked as stable could be. You know, it was not like, I gotta get this. Oh God, here we're moving. It was
that
very
was the
much
thing
like,
too. Like when Melissa and I went down for Orbit Culture, that pit area was pretty about half full, maybe 3/4 full. But like I said, they did a mini wall of death. They did a circle pit. They did all that kinds of stuff to where we were getting, banged around a little bit. And I was like, all right. And then we go down for Knocked Loose, and we were like on the back of the pit. Like we couldn't get any further in. But for Slipknot, we were kind of in the back still, but we had space around us. Like it was comfortable. It wasn't, packed in there like sardines like I thought. And then, Corey didn't really hit you with too many, "I want to see everybody explode." And, I think he could have done that and probably instigated a few more happenings down in the pit. But for the most part, it was get your middle fingers up. It was get your hands in the air. It was
let me
jump
see
up and
those
down.
hands.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. And by the time Slipknot came out, I had a couple of pops in me. I was half deep in the cups, and having the time of my life, man. I literally walked out of there with, I was hoarse. It was hard to talk. Like I was singing so much, and I'm kind of a prude at shows. Arms crossed, having the time of my life, but I'm not, getting my middle fingers in the air. And all of a sudden, I realized I had both my middle fingers in the air at one point for the show. So
He did. He had both of them up.
both of them. But
Two
yeah,
gun salute.
it was fun, man. It was crazy, like, kind of texting back and forth, with the Knot Fest people. And I guess there was like a group chat going on outside of me with different things going on at the show. And so that's where that video kind of pops in, because Chris from Knot Fest hit me up and he goes, "Did he just say that nothing's going to be played, after that was written after 1999?" And I had just randomly taken that video because I only took like maybe 3 videos of like just short clips of the whole show. And I just happened to catch that. And I sent it, I texted it to him. He's like, I'm gonna edit this and put it up. Is that cool?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's cool." And as we were sitting there, man, it was like watching that view count go up. It was crazy. And it's like, I woke up the next day, it's 500,000. Woke up the next day, it was 1,000,000. It's like 1.7 right now. And then I found a Slipknot fan site, posted it, and they have 2.6 million on it. I mean, it's crazy how quickly that spread and how big this band is. It's sometimes you forget how big Slipknot really is, but man, they are an entire world economy to themselves.
Yeah, they are fully their own entity. Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that when and if they do an Iowa 2025,
25.
yeah, that pit will be crazy. I don't think you can I don't think you can do
Right.
those songs and not have, you know, we're about to do Disaster Piece, but everybody just hang out. Like,
So I'm going to throw some hacky sacks out there, guys. Have a great time.
Nice. That'd be awesome.
yeah. Other great points. At one point, Sid did come down. So Sid had on the full baggy original style jumpsuit from the original run. And he would go and do little dances and grab his crotch and stuff. And at one point, though, he just went down off the top of the stage, came down to where Clown was, and then just sort of put his hands out like he was presenting Clown, like, check this guy out. And I really like that because it did make it seem like, yeah, these guys, everyone talks about, oh, people getting replaced in Slipknot, kicked out of Slipknot. But I really did feel like I was seeing like a band. It didn't feel like I was seeing like a bunch of isolated dudes. Like, it did not feel like I was watching people cash a check. This felt like a real invested show. And yeah, also, we got to talk about the drums. Josh, the drums.
Eloy Casagrande. Yeah, no, he Eloy crushed it. Like he absolutely. I was never a big fan of Jay. Obviously, you can't go wrong with Joey. But man, Eloy was up there just murdering those drums. It was awesome.
Yeah.
His feel is so different.
Yeah.
Like when I watch him play, and I've watched some clips from even the warm-up shows that they did for this tour, and drummers would come on that have known Slipknot forever, and they would be like, that Phil right there, he's the one who can do that. Like, because he brings Brazil to it, like it's just different. It isn't the same. And I'm excited for that energy. I like that. I like that, guys. Come on.
I'm coming out of this also thinking, okay, they're going to tour this all summer into the fall. This energy, this hype, this first album energy. They got to take this then directly into the studio and bring that first album energy into a new album. Plus they got Eloy behind the kit. You kidding me? We could be, and also Corey's gonna be spending all summer rapping. Does that mean we're gonna get a little more rapping?
Does that mean the greatest lyricist of all time?
I'm just saying, is he gonna jump from 5 to 4? Okay, is he gonna jump from 5 to 3 on my list? Okay, I'm just saying. Wouldn't it be great if the new Slipknot record has a rap verse on every song? A man can dream. A man can dream.
We're having the time of your life at Slipknot.
Mm-hmm.
You were posting up, hey, we're here. Hey, we're there. We're everywhere. Hey, look at this. Hey, here's a clip of Scissors. Hey, here's that clip of Corey saying nothing before 1999. I had to let the Roach Riders know that I was not there. Yeah, not present at this event. It wasn't an invitation thing. It was, I'm in Michigan and this was that Indianapolis thing. And on Thursday of that very week, I was traveling to Los Angeles. So I wasn't there. But because of your wonderful videos, I was able to post my own version of what happened at Slipknot. And I was pretty excited. I think I nailed it. So I don't know if you guys got to see that, but the first thing I did not have any footage of the first band. So out the window. I had some knocked loose footage. I had a picture. So I just reimagined what I thought it was. And I believe it went a little bit like this. Everybody get up. Why aren't you getting up? I need people up. Why get up? Arf, arf.
You nailed it. I mean, that's exactly what happened.
That's it. Exactly it. That's exactly
scale 1 out of 10. How close was I?
You're 11. You're 11. Straight up 11.
Oh, 13. Holy
Josh
shit.
giving you a 13. Okay.
I love that.
100% accurate, Matt. What was your prediction? What was your next prediction?
And then that Corey Taylor was going to get up there and do some stand-up.
He did, yeah.
He did a tight 5. He did a tight 5. It was mostly about skin masks, but it was a tight 5 on skin masks, and
There
everyone
was
was like,
he did the classic, why is 6 afraid of 7?
Yes, 7, 8, 9.
7,
Yeah.
8, 9.
Yeah.
Classic.
Great bit.
He actually said no. He said no jokes will be told up here that were written after 1969.
These next jokes, they're old jokes.
Well, at one point he pulled a little joke book out, and he was like, "What else you guys want to hear?
Take my wife, please."
We just flew in from Des Moines. Boy, our arms tired.
Yeah. And then Clown grabbed the mic and he goes, "Who's the clown up here? You or me?" And I was like, these guys are really breaking off in a new direction.
Tip your wait staff. I wasn't jealous of the show. I was jealous that I wasn't able to hang out with the two of you.
We will hang out again soon.
I know, buddy. I know.
So Matt, you went on your trip to LA.
Yes.
And while you were in LA, you were obviously spreading the gospel of the coach, and you ran into some people.
So the greatest thing in the world happened during our conversation about Limp Bizkit with Jenny here, is that she mentioned a small talk book. Do you remember that? She was just like, I am not great at small talk, so I am using this book about small talk, and it is helping me be a little bit more small talkish, And one of the main tenets of the book is, if you see somebody that you want to talk to and you can give a compliment to something that they're wearing, like a great hat or, something like that, something that's not like a physical feature, just go with that. And if it's just that, you're great. But if it leads to something else, fantastic. So I was in LA, I was at a conference, and on Sunday night, I was at the closing concert for the whole conference, which was T-Pain.
Nice.
Which I'll tell you a little bit about T-Pain in a minute. So I'm standing there, I'm in the lobby of the Peacock Theater and part of LA Live, like right next to where they do the Grammys. And because I think they do that at the Crypto Arena, which is truly a block sideways from Peacock. And I see this guy, and this guy is wearing a Korn hat. And I'm like, this is kind of like a business pop culture, like young, hip, super. I mean, people of all ages are there, but like it does skew a little bit younger, a little bit more like multimedia. So I see a Korn hat and it is like, I haven't seen one of those here. And then he's wearing a tank top and I see an arm tattoo, and it's fucking Untouchables. It's the album cover for Untouchables. And I'm like, if he doesn't know about Roach Koach, he needs to find out.
Oh my God.
So I go up to him and I go, "Hey man, I love your hat. I do a new metal podcast. Korn's awesome." Because at this point in my life, I can truly say with no cynicism and no lying that Korn is fucking awesome. I've seen them live, for God's sake.
You have. And you're going to see him again.
And I will see them again. And he's like, "Oh, that's awesome, man. You do a new metal podcast." So we start to hit it off. I meet him. I meet his wife. And he starts telling me the story. He's like, "Yeah, the tattoos on my arm, it's my 3 favorite albums." So he had Untouchables here, but then when he turned, it was like Follow the Leader. And then further down was Issues. And then he goes, and while he's showing me, another guy walks up, sees the tattoos, and he's like, "I love Korn. Those are great tattoos." He walks away, and I go, "New metal is back." He comes back. He's like, "It is?" kind of like surprised that new metal's back. And I'm like, "Yeah, man, I do a new metal podcast." And he's like, "For what is it?" I'm out there on them streets, Lorin.
Like new metal Paul Revere, like just yelling that the new metal is back.
You got to get Matt a horse. Travel from town to town.
Siren song to anybody who would listen. That new metal is back, baby. So he comes over. I get his Twitter information. I get the information from Patrick. I get it from Megan. I get to meet them. And then he goes, I have a YouTube video from Korn Official where they interviewed me about my tattoos. I was like, you do? So then, and I don't know, guys, if you've done this, if you have an iPhone, but if you have an iPhone and you're on your home screen and the person you're talking to is on their home screen and you butt your phones up together.
Oh, yeah, they do that with you.
Yeah, you can just share your contact information. So we do that. By the way, I'm so lame. I didn't know that. So we share our contact information. He texts me the YouTube link. It's him at Red Rocks meeting Korn, showing him his tattoos, telling the story, telling like his favorite song, why he got them. But I don't know if he had this tattoo at the time on his leg. He's like, do you know what that is? And I take a look at it sideways and I'm like, is that the bitch? And he's like, it's the bitch.
Oh my God.
It was like, and like, truly, we're in the lobby of the Peacock Theater. And he's like, check this shit out. I'm like,
I got the bitch on my leg.
it was amazingly cool. So he's from, I want to say Arizona, but it may be New Mexico. I apologize in this moment. I don't remember, but he's like a personal trainer, very much into fitness, super cool guy. We shared information. We shared that moment, shook hands, got out of there. But I took a picture with him and I was like, Jenny, in my heart, in my mind, being like, just a little small talk and you never know where it can go, because I am absolutely the kind of person that's like, I'm not going to bother him. I'm not going to bother that guy. He's the only other person that I've seen in the last 4 days. And I want, it's like, we're in California. I'm like, we're close to where Korn was formed and all that good shit. And I'm like, wanting to post something on the Roach Koach page. And then all of a sudden I meet Patrick and I'm like, this isn't forced. I couldn't imagine that happening by forcing it. It was just, he was there, great conversation. And I put it up on our Instagram story. He shared it on his. So if you're a new Roach rider or Indigo Angel because of Patrick, thank you for being here.
Matt, I'm going to say this totally sincerely. I'm very proud of you.
Thanks, great. Man.
Great work. That's awesome.
Yeah, that whole story starts out with when you see somebody you want to talk to, and I was like, I'm out. There's like, I don't ever see a stranger in public and just be like, I really want to talk to that person. Like, I'm just like, I don't know. But getting the bitch tattooed on your leg, that's ingenious. Like, that's genius. Put that on the genius. That guy's on the genius list now.
Oh, he's on the genius. Patrick,
all right, Patrick. List. We're putting Patrick has the bitch. All right, hold on. Pulling up the genius list. Hold on. Please hold. All right. Genius list. Okay. So we're putting Patrick's
tattoo of the bitch on his leg.
Tattoo of the bitch on his leg. There we go. There you go. Because on the genius list.
Okay. Now, for new listeners, we have a list of things or people who have said either in print that they are a genius or have had people say they are a genius.
Yep.
The list as it currently stands, do you have it in front of you?
I have it in front of me, Matt. Here we go.
All right.
The list is OTAP.
Genius.
Cornelius Brandon Boyd.
Genius.
Draymond.
Genius.
Burton C. Bell. He's
self-proclaimed
genius. Yep. The Riff to Czechia by From Zero, which is pure catchy genius.
Okay.
Corey Taylor, mad
genius.
Mm-hmm. Fred Durst. Remember this one, Matt?
Nope.
Genius and superior songwriter.
Ooh.
All of System of a Down.
Genius.
Nightmare by Dry Kill Logic.
Genius.
Scooter. He's a wedding genius.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. Sweet Mitchell.
Oh, yeah, genius.
Rob Zombie is both a genius and also a master of mystery. Deftones redeemed pure genius. Jay-Z.
Lyrical genius.
He's just listed there. He just says Jay-Z. There's no parentheses with him. The Poppy meet and greet.
Oh, yes, where she was in a casket
In
and
a
you got to give her a eulogy.
Yeah, well, you couldn't talk to her and she wouldn't look at you because she pretended to be dead. Yep. Jared is a fucking genius. And now we have Patrick's tattoo of the bitch on his leg.
That's pure genius.
There you go. So that's the genius list. I won't run through the people who've been denied and pending and what have you, but
no need.
No need. But there you go.
So after that, we go into the theater. T-Pain is the closing act. I saw Saweetie. I don't know if you're familiar with Saweetie.
Yep.
She was very much playing to a backing track, but when she was on, she was on. Her dancers were there. I don't know how much I can say about her being a bad boss bitch, but she does seem to have that very much locked up. And T-Pain was fucking fantastic. He was really, really, really good. I was like, he did 90% features. And you know how he solves that problem? Playing the last two measures of the song with the original lyricist, and then he comes in, and you're like, this is the T-Pain part.
I mean, if T-Pain's whole thing is he was singing hooks, so
Yes.
if all he's going to be doing is just doing his hooks, it's going to be like an all peaks, no valleys type of set.
It was a full Good Life hit, and I lost my mind, you know, because it's like Good Life, great song for me, love that. Ye's fucking trash, but that guy was a hit machine. Good Life comes on, we're all like, got to shine. And then he does the everybody's calling me baby. Crowds losing their mind. I was like, is he going to do On a Boat? He does not do On a Boat. Which was a shock. I was like, On a Boat, please. And then he did Shorty, because of course, Buy You a Drink, of course, Bartender, of course. And then kind of a mixed bag. He did the Lil Wayne song that he did. He was all over the place.
Did he do All I Do Is Win?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
All right.
It was.
Yeah. Wow.
It was a magical evening.
That sounds really fun.
T-Pain and $20 beers. What do you know? I was in the LA Live area almost the whole time because leaving that is fairly difficult, and not knowing the city at all. It's like, I'll just stay here. But like staying there is like staying at Pine Knob and or an airport, where it's just like, oh, we've got you. I had, you know how much a regular smart, like a literal smart water bottle is, like a liter of that. What do you normally pay for something like that?
At like the store, I mean, I'm probably like $2 or $3. Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guess how much a half liter of smart water was?
I'm gonna say something absurd. We'll do Prices Right rules. I'm gonna say $9.
I will say 17.
Ooh. 17 is over, 9 is under, but not by much. It was $10.
Wow.
$10. Now I know LA is a very expensive place, period, but it felt like where I was just amped up a little bit more.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Now, Matt, to go back to T-Pain for a second, I want to check, did he do Duality?
Yeah, at one point, he turned the auto-tune off. And he was like, hey, need to talk to everybody. I need to see those fucking hands. Push my fingers into my... And then the auto-tune kicks in. I was like...
Yep. I just seen if somebody was doing Duality. You know?
Absolutely.
Well, that sounds fantastic, Matt.
Yep.
That's wonderful. It's wonderful. A great concert, making new friends, spreading the word of the coach and new metal from sea to shining sea. Really?
Yeah. Truly, the coach is on the come up.
It's true. It's true. Matt, Josh, I believe we've covered just about everything from our adventures. Is there anything else that we're leaving out before we get to our ending moment here?
I do want to bring up one guy, since Matt was talking about his small talk. While we were waiting for Slipknot, I turned around and I saw a guy had one of our passes on. And I was like, hey, where did that get you? And like I wasn't wearing the pass that we had. So like I just kind of came off weird. So I pulled mine out and said I have one too. And I told him I worked for Knotfest. And he told me that he works for a thing called Romanus Custom Vinyl Manufacturing. And what it is they take that. I think I showed you some of that stuff, Lauren, while we were standing there, but they did a Jar of Flies album, but in the actual album is dead flies.
Yes.
And they do all these liquid ones that are like the album is full of liquid.
Yes.
So I met the guy that runs that. He was there trying to, I guess, hobnob Slipknot to get them to do a Slipknot record. But yeah, he does a lot of great vinyl work, man. And we became friends on Instagram.
What do you know? What company he was from?
It says Romanus Custom Vinyl Manufacturing.
Okay,
because it's liquid filled, sand filled, weird insertion LPs. Yeah.
He showed us the one that was the Mortal Kombat soundtrack with fake blood inside the vinyl.
Yeah. So a lot of those. So he must be the person, the actual manufacturing person, and then like the independent labels hire him to do it. Yeah, because I was like, I've seen Rolling Rex and who made that Phantom Planet and who made that Limp Bizkit. But like they made a Phantom Planet that was filled with California sand, So it was like, those things are cool, man. I love that shit. Yeah, I like that stuff, and I like the Wax Mage stuff. If you've ever seen that,
yeah. I was looking through a few of them, and a lot of people were asking kind of the same. The question I had is like, would the liquid not throw off the album? And he said, well, if we do it right, the liquid should turn with the record properly and kind of keep going in a like that old carnival ride that if you slam the centrifuge or whatever that slams you up against the wall. As long as it's going, it should keep it going at the same 33 1/3 or whatever.
Very cool.
So yeah, he was a cool dude. So everybody go check him out on Instagram.
There you have it. Perfect. Well, we all had incredible times out and about, and we'll have more updates to come because we do have Matt, you, and I, and Jenny are going to go see Korn very soon. Josh, do you have any shows lined up that you're going to be going to see very soon?
Don't think so. Okay. I did as for someone that doesn't really leave the house much, my week was crazy because on Tuesday we went to Slipknot. On Thursday, we drove to Cincinnati for an interview that I did with the band Miss May I. Then we drove home. And then Friday, I had tickets to go see Kevin Smith in Lexington, which is another almost 2 hours from my house. So I was just like, Indy home, Cincinnati home, Lexington home. By Saturday, I was toast.
And now he's back.
Wow. And I'm back.
Now he's back.
Enjoy the Ride was the label that I was looking for. Enjoy the Ride is sold a sand filled, and I'm sure he was the person who manufactured it.
There we go. There's only one way, guys, to close out an episode of Roach Koach, and that is with Chad Radical's Rippers for Roaches.
Ripped.
Ooh. Well done, Matt. Well done.
I was prepared today.
You were ready. Matt, this week we are once again dealing with the language of Russia. I don't know.
Last week we did Contrast with Dancer in the Sun. Mm-hmm. And this week we do Amatory with something that is written in Cyrillic. So here we go. All right, Chad Radical. I fucking see you, bro.
Oh
I
my
see you.
You know what I like about this song, guys, is that it seems like these guys they had some riffs ready to go. And they said to the lead singer, "You got any lyrics?" And he said, "Fuck you."
From December 12th, 2003. A come down record.
Oh my god, this guy was like, "I'm going to scream most of this. Maybe I'll say some lyrics, maybe I won't. It's none of your business." That's really how that felt. It really did feel like our lead singer, what's your lead singer saying? We don't know. It's none of our business. He comes in and does whatever he wants. We just play underneath him. Sometimes it matches, sometimes it doesn't. Wow, the screams on that one. The intensity. Just there's no throat left. He's all ripped it all out. And I don't know what, I mean, obviously, we don't know the translation, but even if I did have the translation, it seemed to be mostly just, I'm just going to scream. I am just going to scream. And honestly, it was killer. It was great. Loved it. Matt?
Yeah, I like the chug. Definitely had that drive, that chug. It felt more of the quote unquote classic in the pocket new metal that you're used to. Like even the transition into what would be called a chorus, even though it wasn't like incredibly catchy, was very much in the style. Liked how guttural it was. I like that. The thing that's cool about Chad Radical's list, it is a lot of out of the US stuff. And it's like those things they get missed, especially, you get a little US centric and you kind of miss the broader market. You miss the world, as it were. So it's cool to hear something that was completely different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, us Yanks, we gotta get outside of the old USA. We gotta look around.
Buddy, we don't even know where Wales is. So.
Listen, all I know is where the blowhole is. Josh, what'd you think of the song?
I thought it was awesome. I was trying to place the date. I'm kind of glad that Matt threw out the 2003 there, because at some points I was like, this is like mid 90s. But then actually that kind of the outro that we heard there, or whatever we were hearing towards the end, sounded very modern, like recent. So I was just like, all right, this is all over the map. But yeah, I think when I think new metal, and when I think, like, if you're going to classify like new metal sound, I think that's what it is. It's like that is new metal to me. The vocally, I thought we were going to get a sweet chorus there. I thought we were going to go into a whiny chorus, and he's like, nah, we're just going to keep screaming. We're going to keep screaming. But yeah, I liked it, man. And Chad Radical, also a member of the Talk To Me Patreon. And I realized the other day when I was mailing him some stickers that I don't know his real name. So I really had to write Chad Radical on the envelope. And I hope the postman at least laughed and goes, "Oh, Chad's up to his nonsense again." So
love it.
That's wonderful. There you go. Well, Chad, thank you so much for the list and the Ripper. And thank you so much also for being part of the Talk To Me Patreon. And you know what? More Rippers to come. This list ain't over yet. List ain't over yet, baby. But sadly, this is the end of this episode of Roach Koach.
Aww.
I know, but thank you so much for listening. Keep on saying hello to us online. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. We're on all those. You can send us an email, roachkoachpodcast@gmail.com. Josh Toomey, we can find you bi-weekly on the Talk To Me podcast. And
anything else?
Yeah, anything you want to tease or anything?
I am writing lists for Metal Injection now, which you guys, and it's funny.
Yes.
I will say thank you, because how many times I'm writing and that vernacular is just coming out of me. I'm like, oh, this is a papa, and this is a that, and yeah. So and even like our shared listenership has noticed, because I did 13 side projects that you might need to know about, and somebody's like, this is just a Roach Koach side project summer recap? I'm like, shut up. But yes, it is.
I love it.
I love it. Matt, do you have anything else before we go?
No, as this comes out, where August is almost on its way out. Thursdays, the first Thursday of the month on our Patreon, is our Patreon exclusive live stream with me and Charles Mansion and anybody else that wants to join. I know that that's the middle of the day sometimes for Lorin, so or the middle of the night sometimes for Lorin. But we are going to keep those going. Thanks to all the new patrons. The shout outs happen on the Patreon page. And by the time this comes out, the newest episode of The Pact will have dropped.
Yes.
Lorin, do you want to say what it was?
Yes, it'll be Matt and I talking all about the self-titled album from American Hi-Fi.
So goodbye, dicks.
You should just end the episode there. Like, that's the new tag outro.
Goodbye, dicks.
No more thank yous, just pure goodbye, dicks.
Well, there you have it. So all of that to look forward to, all of that to check out. Yes, of course, go over to the Patreon, patreon.com/Roach Koach Podcast, become a patron, get caught up on the Pact. And until next time, Matt, thank you.
Lorin, thank you.
Josh,
thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Roach Koach
Podcast.
Hot all day, every day. It's the Roach Koach
Podcast.
All day, every day.